you were somebody like, a strategic thinker like Henry Kissinger, who is now dead, but this is the example of the deep thinking American official, what would you really be worried about? Since I mentioned Kissinger, let me stick to him for a moment. The year was 1970. Kissinger, at the time, who was working for President Nixon, you'll recall, was not the foreign minister, was not in the State Department yet. He was the head of the National Security Council, and he was the National Security Advisor to the American president. And he was the epitome, all his life, of American strategic thinking, the thinking of that one-party state, the deep state of the United States. Being a smart man, when he saw the macroeconomic statistics, and he saw that from 1968 onwards, America, for the first time since the 1930s, had become a deficit country. For the first time in its history, since it became a superpower or an important power in the mid-war period, and certainly since the 1950s, when it was the only superpower in terms of economic superpower, the United States slipped from being a surplus country, from having a surplus in its trade balance, to having a deficit. And Kissinger was worried because he knew that, historically speaking, every empire that went from being a surplus to a deficit economic entity started fading. So he got together his people at the National Security Council and he asked them a simple question. What should we do in order to retain our hegemony now that we are a deficit country? And he said to the people, go away and think about it.